TECHNOBLADE is known as one of the best PvPers and an extremely scary person in general. Like, many people have had actual nightmares from his face. Like, this man's like so chaotic and terrifying, it's kind of funny. That being said, many people strive to be as much of a gamer as him by either trying to copy his skin or copy how he plays. Copying his skin is easy though. Even someone as dumb as me can easily do this by just downloading his skin online and putting it on my Minecraft account. But copying the way he plays? Well, that's something that takes a bit more time. So after many hours of studying his playstyle, whether it was older videos like his Skyros commentaries and Minecraft Monday streams, to newer videos like his 100k 1v1 against Dream to Minecraft Championship footage, I've compiled a list of all the necessary things someone needs to learn to PvP like TECHNOBLADE. By the way, before I begin, please consider subscribing. I want to be cool and have a larger number next to my name. Also, if this video does well, consider doing this video on Dream. Yes, Dream, the funny little green guy that does the manhunt videos that literally every single person and their mom has watched.
Officer, whereabouts is the closest bank?
It's right around the corner.
Alright, cheers, thank you.
So make sure to like, sub if you want to learn how to play like Dream, since he's also a pretty insane gamer. So anyway, let's get into this video. To begin, let's set how we will analyze Techno. I'm going to talk about 3 different main categories to his playstyle, or for that matter, anyone's playstyle. These categories are aim, movement, and game sense. At first, aim seems quite simple. It's just generally how good someone is at following a target with their crosshair. It isn't that simple actually, especially with Techno, who plays different versions of Minecraft which require different styles of aiming. The next category is movement. Again, it seems quite simple to a normal player, but depending on the version you play, it can be vastly different. This topic is really interesting actually, and I'll talk about this second. The last category is going to be game sense, and this is by far the most confusing of the 3. Techno is all around a solid Minecraft PvPer, but as I'll get into later, what sets him apart from just about any normal player is certainly this category. I might go as far to say that it is the sole reason he won the 100k duel against Dream. Before this all starts, I'd like to mention that I'm not even close to being as good as Techno in both versions. I actually suck at the game, I have terrible aim, I don't even want to show you my gameplay just at risk of harming any of you guys. But it doesn't mean that I don't know how to play, at least theoretically if I were good. So without further ado, let's start with aim. Aiming is something that anyone can get good at with practice. Some people just naturally have very good aim though, and Techno is a perfect example of this. Going back in time a bit, let's look at the game Quake. For anyone that doesn't know, it's widely regarded as one of the most aim-intensive games ever, and being the best at it certainly means you have some of the best aim in the entire world. In January of 2020, Hypixel hosted a Quake tournament across the entire server. Although it is different from Quake, since it's completely in Minecraft, you still need to have incredibly good aim to be good at it because it functions the same as the original. In this tournament, across the entire server, across every person on the globe, Techno placed 24th. This takes an incredible amount of skill to place that high in such an aim-intensive game. So right away, I've already established how good Techno's aim is. So you might be asking, how can I aim this well? Well, the way Techno aims is fairly standard, where he tracks around the neck of any player. This is the best place to aim in Minecraft, as the way hitboxes work in Minecraft is quite weird. You can hit anyone anywhere on their body, so aiming the furthest out that you possibly can will give you the best reach. The place that your attack comes from is your face actually. Techno talks about this in his Dream analysis video, and he explains how it helps him with low ground.
Huge. The reach you can hit people from begins at the player's eyes, so when Dream is a block higher than me, it's much easier for me to hit his feet than for him to hit my head because the base of a right triangle is shorter than the hypotenuse. Stay in school, kids. It makes you better at PvP.
It also helps out in other ways, like getting the optimal amount of reach. Your reach extends out exactly 3 blocks from your head, so at best you'll be able to hit someone exactly 3 blocks away if you have your mouse exactly parallel to the ground. So aiming as high as you can when your enemy is level with you is the best place you can aim. Keep in mind that this works in both versions, so aiming at around their neck is the best place possible as it will give you the biggest hitbox to hit while giving you the best possible reach. I'm assuming after years of PvPing he does this subconsciously. To be able to aim like Techno, you're going to want to adopt this habit as well and always try and aim at the neck area. Next, I'll be looking at movement. Movement depends a lot on the version you're playing. Both versions have different techniques to maintain combos, but I'm not going to focus on that and just generalize for both of them. Techno's main way he uses good movement is in his long A and D combos. Most PvPers try to spam or be erratic with their A and D movements to try and confuse the enemy by rapidly moving back and forth, but Techno almost does the opposite sometimes. Although he does strafe back and forth at points, he's really good at having longer strafes where he circles his enemies. He does these full long strafes a lot in 1.8. When I say a lot, I mean more than most players would do. Mostly you'll see him straight line where you just hold W and run at them clicking, or A and D strafe to try and get the enemy to miss. But when he gets an opening where the enemy clearly misses, he'll continue strafing to one side instead of looping back. This is another reason that he's so dominant in 1.16 as well. The years of 1.8 PvP with the weird strafe patterns helps a ton in 1.16. Obviously you don't want to do this all the time, and that's another important thing I need to mention, is most of these techniques are just done when he needs it the most. As you get better and better, you'll notice more opportunities to just hold A or D and strafe around them, but don't always do this, you'll be really easy to predict. The last important strategy in the movement category is using crits. Whenever Techno gets in trades with people, so people usually evenly skilled with him, he almost always tries to crit when trading so he deals 50% more damage than them, even if they're both hitting each other the same amount of times. For anyone that doesn't know, critical hits happen when you're falling downwards when you hit the enemy, which does 50% more damage than an average attack. By doing crits while an enemy does normal hits, he's guaranteed to win almost any fight as long as the enemy doesn't get into a combo. Essentially, to play like Techno, you want to master your movement keys. Have solid strafe patterns that are unpredictable in both versions, and also have the option to do full, long strafes, making it much harder to hit you. Also, being able to tell when you need to do crits or when you just need to strafe them out is really important to understanding his playstyle. The thing that sets Techno apart from any other player is certainly his game sense. Yes, his aim is extremely good and his strafe patterns are fairly solid, but there are definitely other players in the sweatier PvP communities that play much more, meaning they have better aim and movement after playing hours and hours a day compared to Techno farming, I guess, for hours and hours a day. The reason he's still so dominant in the game, even though he takes long breaks from the game and doesn't always focus on PvP, is because of his game sense and use of terrain. In MCC5, during a game of survival games, he ran straight through an alleyway with a team of 3 chasing him. Keep in mind, the other 3 players had much better armor, and Techno didn't even have a chestplate. In one of the most iconic fights in MCC history, Techno pulls off this crazy play using his game sense and the environment around him. Spamming arrows with his crossbow, he is able to rapid fire through 4 different crossbows and shred through his enemy by trapping them with cobwebs. This is a perfect example of how he uses the environment and his items, however limited they may be, to his advantage.
I'm not fast enough thinker for that. The cobwebs out of his inventory, the several crossbows, I'm taken back watching that.
Yeah, I love
stops to get
the cobwebs out of the inventory. So how do you even how do those tactics come up?
I know.
Where do they come from?
Another great example of his game sense was in the Dream fights. Lots would consider Dream the better 1.16 PvPer and Techno the better 1.8 PvPer. Techno played extremely smart as he knew this. Using his game sense, he mentions at one point of the fight that Dream gets 2 free hits on him in one of the first 1.16 fights.
So we're staring at each other, Dream goes in, gets the first hit, and then just kind of sits there and lets me heal. Oh, are we gonna hit each other? Oh, Dream hits me again, and he's like, you know what, never mind, I'm gonna let you heal. So
Still, using his game knowledge, he just plays around and stalls Dream out so he can regen. This gives him the opportunity to even out the fight and then push the advantage when he has even health. This is also an important part of Techno's playstyle. He's extremely aggressive in both versions, but also can be incredibly defensive if he needs to. His reasoning for being defensive is simple. When he is low, he retreats and stalls to heal, but sometimes he plays super aggressively when he has one of 3 things. 1, the enemy has much worse armor. 2, the enemy is low from him getting a first hit or taking damage from someone else. Or 3, he knows he is the better player.
I like how he's got better stuff than you and he's...
oh god, he just got all of his health back!
Come back.
Oh my god!
This is why I believe Techno won the duel in the first place. No matter which version he played in, his defensiveness helped him even out any fight before engaging, so he could fight when he was at his strongest. In the same fight, he actually ends up winning after pushing his advantage. This shows even further how effective playing super aggressively is when you have an advantage. We can also see how him playing aggressively helps him win in other Minecraft Mondays. Using his Skywars experience, he learns exactly when to push the advantage and pearl aggressively on the enemy. He does this a lot in Minecraft Mondays and even mentions it at one point when he is playing too aggressive.
You literally said you're not gonna.
I can't help it. I want points.
This is also extremely important for his image as well. Part of what makes him so good at PvP is fear. I know it sounds really weird at first, but being a scary person actually helps him with PvP. A perfect example of this was in Minecraft Ultimate, where his team got a total of 116 kills in a 220 YouTuber event. The only team that came close to killing him was the team that actually turned and fought back. In the event, seeing TECHNOBLADE in full diamond, plus Xnestorio, who's arguably one of the all-time greatest PvPers solely because he is so good at the bow, and Calvin, a top survival games and pot PvPer, with all three of these people flying at you, you obviously would run and not fight back. All of their PvP skill added together makes for a full-on army, which is extremely scary even for the toughest of mindmen.
Leave.
Oh no! If they kill us, I don't.
Oh no! The Techno! Run!
The thing is, after winning so many fights early on, Techno stopped putting his chestplate back on after elytring on the enemies.
I don't even need my diamond chestplate. I'm just going for kills. I don't need a chestplate.
My time.
I don't need a chestplate for you guys.
And with a player down, this left him with barely any armor, even with the other diamond pieces. Most teams could easily have killed him with the reduced armor points, as demonstrated with one of the only teams that fought back, which he acknowledges after the fight as well.
Purple is dead.
I'm low on health.
Purple's a one hit. I got them off you. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe.
We're good, we're good. That was actually pretty close. They recognized I had the Elytron, which really reduces my hit points.
Him being such a menacing guy helps Techno's PvP skill as he mentally messes up people before they've even fought him, and causes them to run even if he's essentially broke. This is called technophobia. It's a real thing, guys. This is very serious. I've actually heard of some people needing therapy after fighting him. This is a very real issue, guys. Don't stop laughing. To conclude the game sense topic, to play like Techno, you'll need a good understanding of how to play both aggressive and defensive. Playing smart and using your advantages, however small they may be, and retreating if at a disadvantage is what gives him the edge in almost any fight. Plus the fact that he puts on a scary image, he usually causes people to black out at the sight of his face. But, yeah, there's not much you can do about that part, unless you become Techno yourself, which unfortunately doesn't seem to be possible because of scientific limitations. Your best bet is to just master every other aspect of game sense, and hopefully the being scary part follows after. To play like Techno, you're going to have to use all the things from this video and master them one at a time. First with aim, learning to have good aim and aim towards the lower neck / upper chest to get the optimal reach and hitbox size is essential. Next, for movement, learn to strafe effectively with long hard strafes, as well as having erratic and hard to predict side to side strafes too. Also, learning when to crit and understanding how to crit is important as well. Lastly, learning how to play smart and using your advantages is the most important thing. If you can engage in a fight knowing how to win and what you need to do to win, you'll excel in both versions of Minecraft PvP. Still, if you want to be a good player, playing exactly like Techno isn't a good idea. Adapting and using your own strategies is super important and will help you become your own version of TECHNOBLADE, and possibly even a better version. This is a super important point I need to make before people get angry. I do not think that Techno is the best PvPer, and I don't think anyone is for that matter. There are not only two different versions of PvP with completely different styles, but also multiple different game types in each version as well. Because of how Minecraft PvP works, being so different and confusing, it's extremely difficult to get good at every type of PvP. Most players, Techno included, just master one or two, which is perfectly fine and expected. This just proves my point further that there really is no best PvPer, and arguing that in general is a pointless argument. That being said, I made this video to highlight Techno's playstyle since it seems that everyone wants to play like him, primarily because of his popularity, but also because he's genuinely really good at PvP. Essentially, I love Techno as a YouTuber. I've watched him for an extremely long time, and I believe he's still a great player. But don't go in the comment section attacking other players for thinking someone else is better, or on the other hand, don't attack others for thinking that Techno is the best. All players are good in their own ways, and that's just how Minecraft works as a game. Still, debates are pretty funny, so if you want to debate in the comment section, peacefully though, yes peacefully, I know it's the Minecraft community, so you guys might struggle with that part, please do so, as it's kind of funny to read and also helps with the YouTube algorithm. So, cause you know I want views, I want attention and stuff, you know, cause I'm a narcissist, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the same video for Dream, make sure to like and sub, or else I'll get lazy and not do it. So click the sub button. It's the big funny button that turns gray when you click it. Just make sure it's gray. If it's red, you're doing it wrong and you gotta like restart, man. All that being said, have a nice day, gamers, and I'll see you next time.